Is there somewhere where you can lie down?
Of course. Poor Peter. Take him to my room.
Yeah, son, put your arm around my neck. That's the old chap.
Mr. Holmes, you must find Nancy.
Quite.
Poor Peter.
That girl disappeared right from under our noses. It's unbelievable. I better try to trace that truck.
That won't lead us anywhere. Our antagonist is too clever for that. But the girl must be found immediately. You're sure the police chemists found nothing definite in their examination of the trunk?
Not one thing pertinent to the case.
What about Grayson's body and the blanket it was wrapped in?
Nothing.
Every object connected with this case has some kind of story to tell. Do you think they'd mind if...
The laboratory is completely at your disposal, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you. Dr. Watson and I will go there at once.
Usual findings on the trunk, Mr. Holmes. Bought in Washington, been banged about a good deal. All labels removed.
And the body?
No marks of any kind.
Very well.
If you need me, call.
Thank you. Watson, please.
Just tidying up a bit.
This blanket is beginning to tell me many things.
Really? You don't say so.
It only remains to translate them properly. Yes. And just as I thought. This blanket has had a most varied history. It's been on many a sea voyage. The latest not 6 months ago. Since then, it has been used to wrap a multiplicity of objects. Carvings of teak wood, candle snuffers made of pewter. And furniture.
Furniture?
Yes. Teak wood leaves an unmistakable stain. Pewter rubs off easily. And there are evidences of wax drippings. But what particularly concerns us, Watson, is the furniture. Most likely a chair. Louis the 15th. In yellow and maroon satin. What do all these things suggest to you, Watson?
Let me see. An aunt of mine, Matilda, lives in Brighton. Very old-fashioned. Very aged.
Exactly. Antiques. We've a lot of ground to cover before nightfall.
Ground? What ground?
If necessary, all the antique shops in Washington. A-N-T-I. There we are, antiques.
Antiques? What connection is there, Louis XV's chair with this partridge girl?
This sliver of wood came from a Louis XV chair that had once been wrapped in that blanket. From other evidences the blanket supplies, I deduced that it's been used in an antique shop. And whoever controls those antiques murdered Grayson and kidnapped the girl.
What?
That's it, Watson. Come along. Before the girl's kidnapper becomes her murderer.
Fed up with all this shopping for antiques.
We must keep searching, Watson. The girl's in grave danger. Hello.
Hello? Oh, sorry. What is it, Holmes?
This isn't the place it seems to be. Look, Watson. Those cabinets. Obviously imitation, and yet they're priced as if they were authentic.
Buyer beware and all that, eh, Holmes?
Watson, I feel certain this is it.
This is my purse.
May I? Thank you.
What kind of a joke is this? Oh, don't bother to answer. You can tell the police all about it. And you shall, I promise you.
But there are no police here. Haven't you noticed? We are quite alone. I sent for you to ask you a few questions.
You always send a rug for your guests.
It was a very nice rug, Miss Partridge.
It's not my idea of a method of transportation.
No, I'm sorry about that, but I'm afraid it was unavoidable.
But why? You've no right to bring me here like this.
I've always found it wise to take what rights I can get. Miss Partridge, you have a document which I must have.
Document? I have no document.
It won't do you any good to deny it.
But I do deny it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You'll remain a prisoner until you produce it.
How can I produce it when I haven't got it?
But you have. It was observed that on the train you had contact with a little British agent named Grayson. He gave you something. Where is it?
But I hardly even noticed the man. I wouldn't even have remembered him if I hadn't seen his picture in the paper. He disappeared or something.
He's dead, Miss Partridge.
Oh,
Now, will you tell me what I want to know?
but I can't.
You won't?
I can't, I tell you. Let me out of here. He gave me nothing.
That's strange, because I know he spoke to you. There's something very curious about that door up there. To open it, you'd have to know the combination.
But I tell you, I spoke to no one on that train.
Now, didn't the little man try to be attentive to you?
Oh, he may have offered the usual courtesies. I don't even remember.
I see. I'm sorry. Aren't you spoke one of these?
Thank you.
And you're quite sure he said nothing at all to you?
Of course I'm sure.
Permit me. And you're certain that nothing passed between you?
I'm certain.
Mr. Howe, please. I must ask you to trust me with your bag a little longer. I have an eccentric interest in the linings of purses. It's a foible. You know Mr. Howe, I believe. Mr. Howe is a gentleman of unusual accomplishments. Under his influence, I've known people talk fluently who never talked before.
But I don't know anything, I tell you. Nothing. Nothing, I swear it. I don't know anything.
You stay out here. I'll go inside. I'll assume the character of an eccentric art collector. As soon as I'm convinced that this is the place we're looking for, I'll signal to you. And you get Grogan and bring him here on the run. But don't lose any time. An extra second may cost a life.
No, madam, I don't know who she is. But notice the modeling. It has good symmetry, good lines. Oh, I'll be right with you, sir.
No, thank you. I'll just take a look around. What an extraordinary cabinet. Spanish. Moorish influence. Imitation, of course.
It is not an imitation, it's authentic.
Oh, come now, my dear man. Ah, may I see some of these ceramics?
Those aren't for sale. They're Ming vases mostly, and they haven't been marked yet.
Well, that's really a very little consequence. You see, if they're genuine, I can tell to within a shilling what the international price might be.
If you please, sir, there are other customers.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I'll just look around. Ah, what a very interesting collection of pewter.
That'll be $500. Now, would you just give me the address where you want it sent?
Yes, Mrs. J. Wellington, Jr. DuPont Circle.
Good night. I'll have it sent out in the morning.
Oh, dear. I'm most terribly sorry.
You've broken one of our best pieces, sir. Ming Dynasty.
Tang Dynasty, not Ming. Definitely not Ming.
It is my business to know, sir. The pottery is Ming and worth $2,300. As we're closing for the evening, I must ask you to settle at once.
Oh, nonsense, my good man. Tang pottery is worth $600 at best.
Just a moment, please.
Yes, of course.
Hello?
What's going on up there?
A customer dropped a valuable piece of pottery. I'll finish with him immediately.
How can you say that it's Ming? 2,300 fiddlesticks. You asked $2,300 for something that's worth no more than $600. I demand to see the proprietor.
Now, wait
There
a
are
minute,
bureaus for
please.
the protection of innocent customers. Show me to the owner of this establishment, or I'll turn the entire affair over to my legal representative. Ming, indeed.
Just a
What
minute.
chicanery, what skullduggery. I mean to put an end to it this very night. Ming for Tang, indeed. And I won't be put off. Call the proprietor immediately.
Very well. Just a minute.
Yes?
This man's mad. An eccentric collector. I can't get rid of him. Insists on seeing you in person.
All right, stall him for half a minute, then send him into my office. I'll get rid of him, and quickly. Aha. No screams till the customer's gone. You get downstairs.
Yes, sir. I'm most frightfully sorry. I'm most frightfully sorry about the vase, but really, sir, your clerk is guilty of attempting the most obvious fraud. You see, he tried to convince me that I'd broken a Ming pottery when anyone could see that it belonged to the Tang era. Its value is no more than $600.
All right, you pay him the 600. We'll call the matter settled.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I'll send you my check in the morning. I see you know the London value of these pieces.
It's my business.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. You know, I think you're just the man to help me find some furniture I'm anxious to get. I'm most frightfully bored with the usual conglomeration of pieces that we can pick up on the other side.
What do you really want, Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
Herr Heinrich Henkel, or as you now call yourself, Mr. Richard Stanley. In 1914, secret agent to the German Kaiser. Since then, head of the most insidious international spy ring that ever existed.
You're wrong. A case of mistaken identity. I've been a respected member of this community for a great many years. I deal in antiques because of their rarity and beauty.
Merely a device to cover up your real business of transporting secret information to the enemies of this country.
Very interesting, but just a figment of your imagination. I'm a very busy man, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Where is Nancy Partridge?
You're not looking for that girl. You're looking for a certain document.
Oh, dear me, no. The document's perfectly safe. You see, the man who has it doesn't know he has it.
That's a very pretty tale, but quite untrue. The only man who had any contact with Grayson on the train was Senator Babcock. The senator doesn't have the document. We took the trouble to find out. Permit me.
Thank you. Perhaps you've been misled by the common notion regarding the shape and bulk of state papers. They might easily have been reduced to a convenient size, you know. Say, a document no larger than a postage stamp.
Postage stamp, huh? That's a very interesting theory, but not supported by the facts.
And quite beside the point. Where's the girl?
She's not here, of course, but you're quite at liberty to look round if you care to.
Thank you. I shall do so. Interesting piece. Spanish, isn't it?
Moorish.
Oh, my error.
It's an amazing specimen. I assure you won't find what you're looking for there.
You stimulate my curiosity. This might be interesting. The Moors were an incredibly inventive people, weren't they?
Yes, it was in shocking condition when I got hold of it. But I had it restored.
It's very lively now, but old-fashioned. If that's the best you can do, Mr. Stanley, I think I may safely examine the rest of the room.
Help yourself.
Thank you. Take your hand away from that drawer.
Mr. Holmes, you didn't think I was going to draw a weapon. I never touched the things.
How odd to find you squeamish.
That connects only with the shop.
You're very quick to say so. And yet a short while ago, I saw two other men in this room. And they didn't go back into the shop, so there must be another exit. And perhaps another room.
Yes, Mr. Stanley, what is it?
Bring Miss Partridge here at once. Excellent, Holmes. I see your voice hasn't lost its flexibility.
My hand hasn't lost its cunning either. When they come here, tell them to leave the girl with you and to clear out.
You think I'll do that?
Yes, you will. You're playing with lives now, Stanley. Not just the girls. Thousands, millions perhaps. And we don't intend to let one man have that much power. Not now, nor at any time in the future. I prefer you alive to face the retribution that's coming to you. But if I have to do it...
All right, Mr. Holmes. I suppose we must all meet our match sooner or later. That's enough, boys. Take your hands off him. Well, Mr. Holmes? Tell the clerk to go home and see the front door's locked.
Well, Mr. Stanley?
It's the last trick that counts, eh, Holmes?
I'll remind you of that later.
Miss Partridge, allow me to present Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the world-famous detective. He's come to rescue you.
I don't believe you.
Oddly enough, he's telling the truth. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and I did come here to help you. But I seem rather to have missed it. I'm sorry. I'm afraid you've had a bad time.
Oh, that doesn't matter. It's Peter. They say they'll do something to him if I don't tell them. They say they've got him.
Cheer up. He's quite safe. A tough customer like Peter isn't disabled very long by a clout on the head. He's all right.
All okay, Mr. Stanley.
Look here, Stanley. This girl knows nothing. I promise she won't even identify you.
Well, unfortunately, she knows enough to hang us. So do you. I'm surprised at you walking into a trap like this, but you see the position I'm in and what has to be done. Katie, how? It will give me great pleasure to attend to Mr. Holmes personally. Easter, and the girl's yours.
It's the police.
Open up, that's the police.
Holmes, where are you? You all right?
darling.
Thank heavens you're safe.
Quick! Stanley's escaped.
All right, boys, bring them along. Come on, Lieutenant. Let's go, sir.
Send it off this building. Double quick.
Come in.
I'm glad you're safe, Senator.
Safe? No man is safe. Look at the way my constituents snipe at me. I don't recall seeing your face before, stranger.
I don't think we've met.
Well, that explains it.
My name is Sherlock Holmes.
Glad to know you, Holmes. What's on your mind?
Senator Babcock, I'm here to inform you of grave peril to your life. Richard Stanley, a dangerous criminal, is now on his way here.
Richard Stanley? Why, he's the most respectable citizen of Washington, has been for years. What could Stanley possibly want from me?
A document from under the stamps of a letter given to you by a chap named Grayson.
Grayson? Grayson? Used to know a man. Grayson? Why, that's the fellow disappeared. Say, I got that envelope right here in my wallet. Now, what does Stanley think could be under these stamps?
A secret document of grave import, reduced to microfilm and concealed under these very stamps.
Thank you very much, Mr. Holmes. That's just what I wanted to know. I might have missed this microfilm if you hadn't led me to it.
I seem to have underestimated your capabilities, Mr. Stanley.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Your famous powers of deduction and observation made it very well in Limehouse or Soho. But here in America, I believe you're out of your depth.
If so, the verdict of history will be severe indeed.
You're nervous, Sherlock Holmes?
I must confess to a marked irritation. Do you mind if I smoke? Thank you. The whole course of the world might be changed by your acquisition of the microfilm.
Oh, it will be, and for the better.
Have you a match?
You can keep those.
Thank you.
And now, if you'll pardon me, Mr. Holmes.
Why don't you do something, Holmes, if that thing's so all-fired important?
The English senator. Cricket, old boy, always cool in the crisis. The last trick, eh, Holmes?
Yes, the last trick.
Say, you're a smart fellow, Holmes. Here's the microfilm, Holmes.
Thank you, Senator.
I say, Holmes.
This is the microfilm with the document on it. It'll be in the proper hands within the hour. As I told you, Mr. Stanley, the man who had it didn't know he had it.
Come on, let's go.
Well, it'll be nice to get home to Baker Street, eh, Holmes?
Yes. But this is a great country, Watson.
It certainly is, my dear fellow.
Look, up there ahead. The Capitol. The very heart of this democracy.
Democracy. The only hope for the future, eh, Holmes?
It's not given to us to peer into the mysteries of the future. But in the days to come, the British and American people will, for their own safety and for the good of all, walk together in majesty, in justice, and in peace.
That's magnificent. I quite agree with you.
Not with me, with Mr. Winston Churchill. I was quoting from the speech he made not so long ago, in that very building.